Right. Alright, I believe it's recording. It says it's recording. Anyway. Alright. First thing on the agenda, I guess, is BF4 server. Seems to be going well. Talking about adding custom content. I think we all agree that we want to add custom content, but the only question would be how to go about that.
You mean DLC?
Excuse me, DLC. Thank you. Due to the constraints of adding DLC and then people without it not being able to connect, it has been suggested that we set a future date to add that and then have an on-join yell with any other yells that are available, maybe the end of round. Is there an end of round yell or a beginning of round yell?
I believe one can be set up.
Alright, that would probably be advantageous if we could do so. Anyway, the suggestion was to set a future date and say something along the lines as this server will be adding Second Assault, for instance, on July whatever. We could set up a post and then maybe do like a shortened Google or tiny URL link to it and ask them for comment, just to see if we can get anybody on the forums to join up. That'd be another means to get people to the website.
We could also put a URL to our platoon page for Battlefield.
That may be a better option. Is there a place to comment on the platoon page?
Yeah, I believe it's just like a Facebook wall.
Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Write message to members only. I see. Alright, so we could do that. That could be that could probably be a better avenue. Just because
you're already there in Battlelog and everything.
Yeah, it's right there in Battlelog, and it's getting them closer to us anyway. They don't have to go through the whole hassle of signing up for the forums, etc. It was also suggested to put up a second server and see what custom content draws people or doesn't draw people. As far as I can see, those are the two working suggestions. Since we cannot dynamically add in DLC content and then run it, the server has to be restarted.
Second server don't cost anything?
Second server doesn't cost anything. My personal concern... Huh?
For the moment.
For the moment. Rhino has a sunk cost in I don't know if you saw that post, Grim, that I put up in the Battlefield 4 administration server. I don't know if you go in there on the forums.
I didn't see that one.
Anyway, basically, long story short, Rhino's got a sunk cost. I'm not sure how many days are remaining on it, but my personal concern is that our numbers aren't that great to begin with, and is putting up a second server just to do some market research worth splitting the community effort? In my personal opinion, I don't think it is. I think that we do have a solid enough base, all of whom have the custom content we wish to add. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it's my opinion that the future date and chatting it up in yells and chatting it up on the server and trying to draw people to the platoon page is about the best way we can go about it.
Yeah.
I believe that we have enough guys to, if there's the same concerted effort to drive the server once we add the custom content as there was to get it started to begin with this last time around, that it won't be a problem. Does anybody have any comment?
Sort of my comment, and I'll pretty much say it. That was sort of my suggestion with the second server, especially if it doesn't cost us anything. Maybe try to see what natural growth. I mean, not necessarily us going in and starting it up. I mean, I don't mind doing a little bit of that effort and doing so, but I think natural growth is what I had in mind with that suggestion. I probably should have communicated that a little bit better. So if we will our server rank right now for that server that we have going right now, would that transfer over into maybe another server that we start up, say if we did do a second server?
No.
Okay.
And to note for you, we did have that second server up for, I want to say, close to a week. And it did absolutely nothing. I don't think anybody joined it at any point.
Okay.
So without us starting it and removing our effort from server 1, I don't think that we're going to see anything there.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand, diverging the traffic and the effort to get the servers up and running, and it being kind of our main goal right now, especially with the one server having us in there. And from what you guys have said, or what many people have said, is that, the more people with tags in there, the more traffic it's going to gain. So I kind of understand, I'm starting to get caught up with the Battlefield 4 multiplayer aspect of gaining traffic. It's taken so long. I've had a little bit of gap in there, but my only concern is like, okay, well, if we do make the push, it's going to take, if we do lose the transient traffic, that's my only concern with it, with the switch.
And obviously that's all of our concerns. I don't think that we, that's why we were picking the later date thing, in my mind. I mean, do you have any comment, Gowdy?
Nope. It's, pretty much what you said.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the best way would be if we could dynamically add the maps and see what runs and what doesn't, but we can't. The system is set up to disallow us from doing that. So I don't know. I just don't see any better option from what I've seen in my limited time in the past month. I've been in pretty consistently for a month, and it takes a handful of us to get started. It can be slow going, and it's up till about 10, 12 players, and then it just seems to take off on its own.
I mean, you can set up the map list so that I believe at a specific time throughout the day, it'll switch to a different map list and have the DLC in it or not, So it might be worth the trade-off for, like to test it during peak time. Just turn it on for, 2 hours, Friday night or some shit.
Yeah, but are we going to shut down the server and get rid of everybody that's on there?
No, it doesn't shut down. It just kicks the people that don't have it.
Oh.
On map change.
That was not my understanding. My understanding was that the server fully needed to be restarted.
No.
See, and that's kind of why I was suggesting, okay, we kind of make a yell or some sort of notification to the players, hey, in 2 maps, it's going to switch to this map, this service pack or whatever, the DLC. So they're aware 2 games prior, and then they can make their decision. And then we can kind of say, okay, well, when we loaded this map, our traffic dived, and we don't want to play that map, or
Well, it's as soon as the map list becomes active, no matter what map it is. As soon as you make the map list with the DLC active, it'll boot everybody on the next map load.
So basically, what we would have to do if we were going to do that is make the yells a couple of maps before we even activate that list.
Yes. Because you can play it, you can still vote for a vanilla map, and if the list itself changes, and then you've got the DLC in there, and you go to Paracel Storm, for example, it's still going to boot everybody that doesn't have it, that doesn't have the DLC.
I would be behind that under the circumstances that we have a lot of our guys on to be able to keep the traffic up. In case
exactly. It's the peak time.
Yeah, if we can like some way coordinate that, just on maybe one of our nights, our scheduled nights.
All right, well that's something we're going to have to talk about with regulars if we ever get anybody on here.
Yeah.
Any other Battlefield 4 issues to address before moving along?
User joined your channel.
Not that I'm aware of.
Alright, the next item on the agenda would be Call of Duty 2. We're in the top 150 as a server. That's the first time that's happened in years. Actually, we are ranked 149 at the current moment. The highest rank we've had is 136. Let me see. Past week's traffic was pretty good on Monday, Wednesday. Ironically enough, Thursday didn't do so well. Or no, I'm sorry. Thursday did well. Wednesday did not do well. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night did well, with a little bit of a peak on Wednesday. I think it's kind of an is what it is situation, and the people that play Call of Duty 2 are going to show up or they're not. The server rank has kind of plateaued for about the past 10 days to 2 weeks. I think it's been a good effort, and it's going to be what it is. We have switched to an all vanilla, if you will, map rotation for it.
User disconnected
with
from your
other
channel.
maps.
I'm still here.
We just lost Sean, or unless he's home. Anyway, we switched to an all vanilla map rotation with all the custom maps available to load at any time. Grim, have you been in there recently, or
No.
you've been doing your DayZ thing?
Yep.
Okay. We have no representative from Call of Duty 2, specifically.
I can talk for Call of Duty. I've been playing there.
Oh, hey Jason, I didn't see you sneak in. Do you have any thoughts on what's been going on recently, or what we need to fix?
The server's seen a lot of traffic when Spawn leaves it on all rifles only.
All weapons?
No, just rifles. Those TZ guys come in when they know that it's all rifles only.
Okay.
We seem to have better luck with rifles only.
If they come in and it's all weapons, do you see them leave?
They'll stay for a map or two, and then when they get frustrated, they'll leave. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I did approach Happy, or Happy has been approached in the past about being a junior admin. Happy. I think he's going to be set up on that. Do you ever have any interest in that, Jason, or no?
I've never been. I don't know the Archon controls.
Well, we do use a tool, and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we can discuss that at a later time, but it is a tool. There is a tool that you can use. It doesn't require you to put commands through the console.
Oh, okay.
But that's something that we can discuss if you're interested in taking on a little bit of responsibility. I mean, basically what the deal is we have a short probationary period just to make sure that nobody's going rogue. We don't usually approach anybody who we're not confident in, so it's usually just a formality, but it is something that we, feel is important. So yeah, vanilla maps, rifles seems to be doing well or better than all weapons is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
And the scheduled nights do pretty well. Other nights, it's hit or miss. Do we have any recommended changes?
No, the map rotation is pretty good, and spawn is usually there. Well, spawn or CT, if they're there, we'll usually change the map if someone asks.
Okay. Any other comments? Alright, next item on the agenda is the forums, and I'm also going to wrap in the website with this one.
User in your channel timed
Rhino
out.
has discussed... We lost another version of Sean.
Huh?
Rhino has discussed redoing the front page. I do think that's a good idea because we have always struggled with how to utilize it. I mean, I'll be honest, I personally don't ever even go to our front page. I just go straight to the forums. But there is sort of template that he suggested, and I'll try to find that and post it in the forums if you guys are interested in looking at that. But do we have any comments on what would make the forums and webpage better? Or more attractive for outside new people coming in? Like if somebody came to our website, what do we need to have to attract them to want to stay? Anybody?
Trying to think.
If I had noticed, and I think Rhino kind of touched on this point as well, that going to some of these clan pages or community pages, they're pretty basic. We have really a well-established, in my opinion, community and forum-based system. And our webpage, I think, graphically is there. It's to me, it seems appealing. I think just what needs to really be updated is maybe the framework of the webpage more than say the homepage. We have our TeamSpeak information up there to where you can see the TeamSpeak channel, who's in, maybe highlights. I think you had mentioned as well videos or some type of content. I really think I'd like to be a part of that. I would really like to maybe make like a promotional video. As I mentioned kind of in the head admin post that I had made, maybe something along the lines of something viral or something, just like a promotional video of game footage of us playing certain games, maybe COD2, some Battlefield screen capture, as well as some Arma, any of the active games that we currently play. And I think it would be a really good thing to kind of post onto the homepage. All
right, I'm not opposed. My only concern is that I just don't feel it's in our best interest to have a video that just starts off blasting your speakers.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I'd have to say that there need to be a play button.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just like embed like a YouTube video where it just has the play button and then they click play. I don't think it's just like way back when, I think in the late 90s or the mid 90s, when you went to a page, a WAV file, a WAV file just starts playing, and it's just blast your speakers. That's to me, and I think everybody here finds that unappealing. Or what would be kind of cool, I don't know, tell me if you guys think this would be kind of cool, maybe actually have that, but like really low, and have the Call of Duty or Band of Brothers like standby music.
You mean the old school mod music that we had?
Yeah, just like low playing, like you won't really notice it unless you have your speakers turned up or you're like focusing. You know what I'm saying?
That should be easy enough. I'll find out exactly what song it was. It is the 1.35 mod for UO did use a Band of Brothers soundtrack song, and it should be pretty easy to identify which one it was. I wouldn't be opposed. I think that'd be cool. It's kind of a throwback, and it was chosen because of its subtlety to begin with. Trying to talk Chicago, I see you lighting up, but you're not saying anything.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You got Verizon?
Sorry about that. I was just asking, is that something that's built straight into the video, the actual sounds, or is that going to be something that's in the website on connection?
That's to be discussed.
I'm just thinking
like the
because
website.
I'm thinking with the website, you don't want to. It might like be too compressed, and like I'm afraid that it would sound shitty. You know, like it would sound like poor quality, and it would just be kind of tacky.
Maybe we could like test it and see how it works, and then go from there and get everybody's opinions. Maybe make a forum post,
How about
create
like
a test page.
Can't you make like a YouTube account and just kind of like link it off YouTube type of thing?
Well, yeah, for the video, we could definitely do that. But I'm thinking just like ambient music when they visit the homepage. So when they visit the homepage, it's kind of ambient in the background.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
I'd be concerned with loading time also for that. If it takes extra to load.
Honestly, half the time people who are browsing the website have music on anyway. I know I do.
Well, I mean, we can. I mean, I don't mind doing a little bit of research on it and just see. All those are definitely good concerns, and I think they're great opinions. It's just I wouldn't mind trying it out just to see what we could do and possibilities, and then get everybody's opinions. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't mind spending the time on that.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I've always been definitely 2 thumbs up about us kind of putting more gameplay video up, and I always, in also just in personal opinion, I'd like to see, other people play too, and some games that I don't play, like I'd like to see what people got going on there,
Yeah, like Brano's video of me getting chopped in half by the helicopter blade.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that either.
All right, any more website forum comments? Okay. Along. TeamSpeak. I think we're pretty good there. Anybody got any issues with how we're doing things? The on join, we can change it at any time. I think the aside from this meeting, announcing things with temporary channels has been working okay.
I think it looks great. I have noticed some channel creation going in the wrong spot. Some have been creating channels, and it seems to pull them into the administration header that we have down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Is there
the
any
problem
way we can
with
kind of
that
control
is that if you don't designate the location, any new channel is input at the bottom. So the only way we could really fix that is by moving the actual administration channel spacers.
Well, it always used to be on the top, didn't it?
It was. I'm not sure why it was moved. I didn't move it. I think Rhino moved that. I think it was just to not be as off-putting to anybody that's new. That they come in and the first thing that they see is the admin channel. But that is why that is happening.
Slide it up above other games, so it's in the middle.
Is there any way we could password protect that header so that if they do to attempt to create a channel, it kind of prompts them or anything?
No, I've tried. It just doesn't work like that. But we'll look into relocating that channel. Any other comments on TeamSpeak? All right, moving along. Finances. Right now, we're kind of operating at our fiscal limit, if you will. I'd like to see some additional funds from the Battlefield side of things so that we could increase the server size. I don't necessarily want to go to a full 64. I don't know if that would or would not serve our interest, but I definitely would at least like to get to 48 playable. So if that means 52 total or 50 total so we can have a couple commanders, I think that would be just about a sweet spot. There has been some talk about if they port the DayZ mod to Arma 3 that for hosting a server for that Epoch mod. I feel, my personal feelings on the matter is that if we're going to have a lot of guys that play it, we might as well serve it and try to get some more guys to the community. As far as Call of Duty 2, we've lost a couple because they say that we don't have daytime traffic or as much traffic anymore, but that's that's natural attrition. The game is 9 years old, for crying out loud, so I mean, we're either going to have you or we're not. But other than that, we're operating at about maximum capacity. Any comments?
I kind of had a conversation with somebody, and we kind of threw ideas back and forth, and thought it would be kind of a good idea. If we have new games that maybe come out, if somebody wants to kind of spearhead that, kind of present it to the group, maybe have them they'll have to do the legwork to kind of bring it into, say, if we want to administer a server for that game, or like any new games, kind of present it to the community and kind of make it their responsibility. If they're saying, hey, this is awesome, I really want to, say, have people play it, or if we have a player group or basis, like you were saying, the Epoch mod moving to Arma 3, I would definitely be on that. I think Arma 3 is a good basis of a game. I like playing Arma 3, especially the Wasteland mod, and especially the Epoch mod with Arma 2. And the only problem is having enough administration with the server. Like we've been noticing on the DayZ servers, active administration is pretty much a must. Not just for the sole purpose of identifying and preventing hacking, but server-wide issues such as glitches and disputes, stuff like that. Also, I've noticed some good ideas where they have like events on certain nights of the week to kind of draw traffic, sort of like races to get from point A to point B across the map. Some events like that would be a good idea, but definitely any move we make, we would definitely need some type of a group of administrators devoted, or that are kind of into it.
I don't think that would be a problem either, because we have a bunch of people who play DayZ who have been admins before on DayZ servers in the past, which include like me, Graham, Nightmare, Rhino, Chicago. So
Yeah,
All right, I guess the point
Go
is that it needs to be funded before we start jumping into stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and that was kind of the conversation as well. Maybe if they want, they kind of before anybody purchases anything. I mean, something's got to be presented with the evidence that hey, I've done my research and this is a good idea or not whatnot.
Well, Rhino's idea of um, the new game. If we host a new server, it's got to be, self-sustaining for 3 months before, the people who are playing it have got to, pony up for it. And then if it stays consistently, going, then we can consider bringing it into the fold of the overall finances. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah,
I'd agree on that too.
One thing I've noticed also with the past 2 servers we played on with DayZ are packages, donor packages, creating custom skins for their units, their persons when they come in, either gun packages or building crates, because that's one good thing about the Epoch mod and why it's so popular is that you can build your own base. We are on a server right now where you can pay $10 and get not an ammo crate, but a building crate full of building supplies, and it's for $10. They put $10 into your PayPal account, and that's a one-time purchase. And then they've got donation packages to where you pay a monthly fee, just like what we do with our donor packages. Support the server, and they have little perks here and there for it. That's to me a really good possible revenue generator as well.
Sounds like it.
It is because people pay for it. The Epoch mod is so popular in DayZ that people just will definitely do it if the price is right and the contents of the package is right.
Yeah, I mean, because even without monthly donors, you'd be making, I'd safely say you'd be making at least $10 a day just on people doing one-time purchases. At least $10. I mean, even more. That's like just one person buying one thing.
Yeah, and if you have a server of like 50 people or 45 people, you're definitely gonna have at least 15 people buying things. At the very least, 15 people.
Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay.
No
Jeff's
problem.
important, so he'll post in the forums, I think. Right now we're on the DayZ or any future game coming into the fold of the servers administration or within the finances under the community.
Did you mention that they're doing this mod for Arma 3?
Yes, we just talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe we could do like a quasi thing, kind of combining the idea of individually financing it for the first 3 months, but then also offering the packages through the forums and try to kind of co-op or recoup maybe some of the starting cash flow for that before that 3 months hits, and kind of have a starting basis. So if it does fall into the fold, we can cover it at least for maybe a month or two, depending on how much revenue we gain off of that initial, those packages or whatnot.
I'd like to interject a couple of things when somebody's...
I was just going to say, I think we have a lot of time to prep for this too. Like, I don't necessarily think, next week they're going to pop out Epoch for Arma 3. I have a feeling personally that it's several months before we're even going to see the first alpha release for it. I still think we're almost, maybe 6 months away from that.
Yeah, I think the video that I had watched, their webpage, believe says they're in alpha 0.01 or 0.1, so they've got time.
Except that they are trying to do this for that contest, and there are certain deadlines as far as having your entry submitted for that contest, so they don't have all the time in the world to try to get it right.
Yeah, I think it's the end of the year, right?
Yeah, but the judging, or the contest is like judged at the first of the year or something like that, and the entries have to be submitted like 2 months before that, I thought, or something. I haven't looked at the deadlines for a long time because they didn't have them up for a long time. Did you guys talk about the server aspect of that at all? Because I think there's definitely a huge difference server performance wise. I think the servers we've been playing on are running on dedicated boxes, which is why the performance is so much better or so different from one place to another, and why we vacillate to a server that is performing well. And I think that is a big difference in terms of generating revenue too. Because you can have all the donor packages and perks and stuff like that, but if people are getting like 12 frames, 15 frames a second, they're not going to play there.
Yeah, so we'll pretty much have to do a lot of research. I mean, and kind of keep an eye on it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to be expensive too, is what Ryan was saying.
Yeah, but if you look at, and I didn't do a really good job of documenting this, but if you looked at the stats thing that I posted up, like how to do stats, and you explored around with that for a while, you find just a ton of information in those stats that are something that DayZ has been missing, which and something that ARMA is missing in terms of a game. You've got stats of like kill death ratios and humanity and all this kind of stuff. How many vehicles are on the server? Where the hotspots on the map are? So where the most action and most people are getting killed. It's very dynamic. It's very deep, and that stuff goes a long ways to keeping people interested. Then on top of that, in their forums, they have a bounty system where if you want to kill somebody because you're sick of their bullshit, you can go put a bounty out on their head, and if somebody does it, you pay them in-game money, and so there's all kinds of stuff that's driving people to their forums. It's not just a game server sitting out there with no interaction. There's several levels of stuff that's being put in there, and it's a big undertaking to run it, keep it going well, integrate it with a website, and also keep it fresh. But at the same time, it can be a revenue generator and a community people generator, I guess.
Well, I think it's a great idea for us to get a server.
For Arma 3, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, we would have gotten an Arma 2-1 by now if we were going to do it.
We'd be late to the show. It'd be like showing up with a Battlefield 4 server at this point when everybody's already got run one and it's kind of run its course, and you've got the established, popular, well-performing servers drawing in people every day.
I think it's kind of exciting to me because it's going to be new, it's going to be fresh, and it's going to be fucking hot, and people are going to want it, and we're going to be, we're planning it out good enough. We're going to be ahead of the game day one.
I think you have to do some of that homework though, like watch the mod, try to get in on like alpha, running it as soon as possible, try to get it integrated within some kind of forum stats. You got to get the various levels of support for that. You've got to get built in as fast as you can.
I wonder if they're gonna be if they're gonna have like an application system for testing their alpha.
I don't know.
And maybe you can get in on that.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a personal comment. I need to be reset on the forums.
I can do it right now.
Because I keep trying to change my password, and it's telling me it's sending me an email, but it doesn't.
Let me just do it right now. I don't know what's happened to the email system, whether something got turned off in the forums or what, but we were sending out notices, and I was getting notices of new registrations and stuff, and it seems like all that stuff has stopped.
I think that comes back to Joe, the section of the what needs to happen with the website, and any ideas for that.
I floated some stuff out there in the admin section.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
I've been trying to log in at least once a day to see look for new applications to approve them, and I've been doing that for almost 2 months now.
What's happened with the email system? I mean, there is an update to PHPBB, but I can't imagine that not updating broke what was working.
I mean, is there another like website building program that we can use, or forums that we can transfer to, or as far as the framework?
There is. It's a pretty big undertaking. You're better off to try to fix this one before you are to try to migrate somewhere else. And that is kind of a we have a huge database because it's been there for so long. The database is up around, I think it was like 690 megabytes. When we started, or when we moved it here, it was about somewhere close to 300 or 400, or between 350 and 400, I think. So it's like doubled since we moved here, and it's probably doubled because of the size of the graphics and the images that are sometimes being posted. I'm not really sure what all contributes to that, but we've wanted to keep it because it represents so much of, even though there's old posts, like probably thousands of old posts that will never be reviewed again, the sentiment's been, let's try to keep it because it's kind of like the history of Axe, you know. Now, you could prune it down and probably cut
User left your channel.
a third to a half out of it.
User disconnected from your channel.
I guess we lost a couple.
Like that.
Are you just? Is it just Chicago? Is that your username?
Chicago Alive.
Oh, we deleted that, I think.
Oh, thanks.
It's probably Steve-O.
No wonder I'm not getting an email.
I found it. Just poke me with a new password and then go test it.
All right. So, any other agendas, Joe?
That was it.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about or concerned with or anything?
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for showing up.
If somebody else stick around and tell me what was covered, I'd appreciate it.
I recorded it all too, so.
Should be reset now, Chicago.
All right, I got to get going, gentlemen. So appreciate it.
Take care, Legend.
All right, take it easy, Legend.
All right, later.